Actually, yes, preseason, all that kind of jazz, right? Well, so the rules in this game are going to be very simple. I am going to only choose. He is going to only play as a defensive coordinator. So he is only going to be a strategic. Now, the type of character he was. Now, let me go ahead and talk about some background about him and all that. I'm going to give you all just straight to the point. He has been a championship caliber coach under the team, the Leicester Titans. They have won a championship under head coach Frank Lunchbox, who Frank Lunchbox actually won numerous of Hurricane Football League championships. He has become the franchise coach of the franchise, and he has been basically a big name and basically left a big name, but there were some big names he did leave after he retired. Mark Falah and Jihad Falah. And these two are actually brothers. Mark Falah is actually nowadays a retired player, but the Falah family actually originated by a guy. Actually, I have notes of him. I just forgot the names, but I am doing a walkthrough of another football game coming soon on Steam. And once that game releases, I'm going to be streaming that sometime. So stay tuned with that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Because if you like some NFL prime time, then you're going to love this game. I'm going to say this too as well. This is a classic, instant classic text-based game. So, like I said, and actually, I think it's actually. Let me see how much this game is. One, just a minute. Let me look it up for you all on Steam. Um, what is it called? College football coach. I think it's called. I forgot the full name, but yeah, here we go. Yes, this game is a very popular game. It's actually 19.99. It's a $20 game, and there's a lot of stuff you can do in this game. You could even mod in this game if you wanted to. You can do a lot of cool things in this game. I highly recommend it if anyone likes to even do their own little like what if scenarios, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. It's a really fun game. I highly recommend it. And it's a great game if you like scenarios where let's say you want to create your own universe, right? You want to create your own little sports universe, your own little football universe. This is one of those games where you can. There is another game I'll be playing soon now. There's supposed to be coming out soon. And yes, Dispatch will be coming out tomorrow. I'll be streaming that tomorrow. So yes, conclusion of Dispatch. Stay tuned. Hope you're all excited. Hope you're all excited for that tomorrow because I'm gonna be concluding Dispatch. You know what I mean? You know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, stay tuned with that. So yeah. And but yeah, just but yeah, this is definitely gonna be a game called hold on, let me check the game names called. Hold on just a minute. Let me see where it is. Um where is the game? Where is it? But yes, Tomb Raider is actually a game I'll be starting soon. Tomb Raider is gonna be a game I'll be playing soon as well. I think I'm gonna start it next week. I'm still gonna start it next Monday. Once I get some things figured out, I mean IRL stuff, right? Get some other IRL stuff figured out. Like I said, I'm gonna be getting a new schedule. I'll be streaming in the afternoons, by the way. I'll be streaming in the afternoon hours at the end of this weekend. So tomorrow I'll be streaming it around at noon tomorrow. And yes, we'll be doing a sports news show tomorrow. Um, Probably tomorrow night. I don't know, but like, oh, sorry, not tomorrow night. On Monday night. Corrections on Monday. On Monday, not Sunday. Tomorrow will be dispatched your conclusion, and we're watching back-to-back games. We're gonna play that back-to-back, so stay tuned with that. That's gonna be huge. Also, there is another game I'll be streaming, and I hope you're all excited. I hope you all are very excited. I hope you all are very excited. Gridiron Masters. Gridiron Masters 98. That's the game I was going to remember. Gridiron Masters. That game is going to be coming out soon. And yes, I'll be playing that once I get some, IRL stuff figured out. So see again, stay tuned with that. If you like NFL prime time, like that old school football of the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, like high school football, high school, college, professionally in like those decades, you're gonna love what I'm going to do because I have an idea what I'm going to be doing with the Falah Dynasty. But there's actually now this game, for what I remembered, this game coming up is actually going to be a game where you can have a new coach no matter how you play it, right? But you can basically play it and you get a new universe of its own. So it's like it's like hypothetically you have a notebook. It's like you have a notebook, right? And you're like, oh well, let's look at these characters. We'll have these characters, we'll have these characters, right? And then the next page, oh, we're gonna have a different set of characters, right? It's like that. It's like you're an artist, you're trying to create a story out of it its own. It's very cool, it's very clever, and I like how the game dev of that one did really well. So, but yes, welcome in, and we're gonna welcome into Jihad Fall's career mode, and this is actually a career mode I was going to plan quite a long time ago, because Jihad Falah is actually one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest. But this is only going to be his college coaching career, and we're only going to do 10 seasons. We're only going to do 10 seasons of this career because, according to the game of the original league, he was 48 years old when he won the championship of the Hurricane Football League. So, can we, in 10 years, do something that is utterly impossible and win it all with a championship under his belt? Well, we'll see with the Michigan Wolverines of this season of 2025. Now, this team is built great. I mean, he has a great D line. I mean, look at the D line. I mean, the D line has greatness in them. I mean, they have a lot of great big names. I mean, they can even have some good set of linebackers. I mean, they even have an A plus potential redshirt sophomore who I think if he can build him right, he can basically have a potential future in the professional league. So I'm saying, so yeah, this is definitely gonna be one of those series where it's gonna be a little bit short term, a little bit. Like we're gonna do a season, take a little break, and then I'm gonna do an off season stream, that kind of thing. Because I have a lot of other content I want to do. I got dispatch tomorrow. Like I said, I want to complete dispatch by tomorrow. I want to complete um dispatch as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? I want to complete that. So now it looks like we got a couple of red shirts we need to handle. Now, I typically do I typically do a couple of things. First things first, we need to do red shirt. Now, let me see if I can find a way I can red shirt them. Let me look. Okay. Dev shirt's not available. My team maybe. Let me look. Yeah, here we go. This is our team. We're only gonna look at our defense. So the summary. Here's the cornerbacks. Now, I want to redshirt some of these players, but it seems like we have some red shirts we already got. So we're gonna just go ahead and do is just go ahead and go next week. That's mostly gonna be our first start. You know what I mean? I mean we can try to find a way to do redshirting, but um so we're gonna try and see. Okay, so yeah, senior. Yeah, it seems like there's not a lot we can do when it comes to changing things, but that's okay. I mean, after all, the head coach makes that decision. But like I said, this is just Jihad Fallah's run as a defensive coordinator. It's not something that's going to be big, right? It's not going to be a big run to be expected, but this is definitely his career, his own little story of, his own college professional college, journey before he went to the Hurricane Football League as one of the best defensive coordinators of all time, winning a championship and then going to kind of a little bit more into going back to college for a little bit and definitely winning some championships there before having some of that recognition. Now, we got some really huge stats from our great team. Now, our defensive linemen are doing really good. Now we are starting to see some regression like Jaron Martinez, Mark Mosby, Juwan Garrison, Brandon Camp. He's actually got a little bit of progression, a little bit, but not much. Jeremiah Williamson went from 74 to 79. He's actually been doing well with the build, right? He is doing great when it comes to, building their player. I mean, he's doing great. He's trying to be, trying his hardest to, trying his hardest to, trying to build these players. Now, if you are a, I mean, and here's the way I see things, okay? Here's the way I see things. Okay? Like, the way I see things is this. Number one, you got Zane, who's actually really good, actually. It looks like a very good stat, actually. Now, Cedric Carey, Brandon Graves, they're definitely great players to keep an eye on all around. So, we're definitely going to see some changes as we go around to this offseason. Now, there is one thing I really like about this game. And I'll show... Oh, wrong window. Sorry about that. Wrong window. I did not mean to do that. I was trying to drag the... Oh, sorry about that. Did not mean to do that either. But we're going to do this. And I guess I can't do that either. Like, I just have to basically... I should get a mouse soon. Oh, speaking of which, I am thinking about getting a mouse soon. So keep an eye out on my throne. Because I'm trying to look up new mouse, like not a mouse pad, but like something that will help my hand getting mouse, using the mouse and keyboard, all that kind of stuff. Because I definitely need to get a new keyboard and a new mouse soon. By the beginning of next year. So hopefully I can play on my Steam machine soon. I am looking at a monitor or something as well. Even if it's just dirt cheap, I'm looking at that as well soon. So, like I said, my throne is there, and I'm definitely looking at people are welcome to do that. But yes, on to the game plan installment. Now, this is Camden Fulton. Now, Camden Fulton is more of a defensive head coach. He is actually also a offensive pro style run heavy. So he's more he's more like he's more of a run heavy, more of like in your face, smash mouth, run heavy coach. Meanwhile, defense wise, he's also a conservative man to man nickel. Meanwhile, Jihad is also a 3-4 balance zone. Now, this is going to be a very conflicting thing about it, but also at the same time, I think Camden is actually, I can see what he wants to do with that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go with the coach, conservative man, but we're going to keep our 3-4 scheme. We're going to keep our 3-4 scheme. We let the head coach come in there, right? Now, the thing is, and that's actually what Jihad thought actually would think in this universe, is because he's more of a defensive motivated type coach. He believes that the head coach should have a say on the team, also himself. He believes that the way I see things is this, okay? Jihad Falah, because of the Falah family, have a good long range of coaches, okay? You have actually, yeah, hold on, I actually got a notebook of all the Falah family, but which actually we're gonna actually have a little bit of a career walkthrough of getting to know him in my universe, because you know what, he deserves a little bit of a fun little universe. You know what I'm saying? He deserves his own little story to you all as a coach. But yes. Now let me look and see real quick. Like I said, bear with me. I do not have a lamp yet, which I'm also going to be putting that on throne soon, because I need a lamp soon. Let me look here real quick. Bear with me. Sorry, but here we go. Here's the family trees of all the coaches. Now, you have Actually, it's going to be the family. Here we go. The Falah bloodline. Here you go. I got this saved on my notebook. Yes, Chris Falah used to be a running back, but also Chris Falah had two sons, Jihad Falah and Mark Falah. Now, they're both brothers, but the difference is that Jihad Falah is also a big name coach. Now, like I said, just like Chris Falah, who's actually been a Indiana native. Yes, from Indiana, the state of Indiana, like Indianapolis. He's actually originally from Indianapolis. But then Mark Fallon went to a little bit more into the Mississippi area. You know, his family went from originally was from Mississippi. Jahai was more into the Indiana slash Illinois area. So basically, those two come from north and south. But then they had a bunch of other guys like Mark Fowler Jr., the next son in line for quarterback. But then they got also tight end Brad Fowler and QB Janenko Fowler, which actually is Jahad Fowler's son. So yes. So yes. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, there is a long series of lore with the character of the Fowler bloodline. And then you got Angelana bloodline. But yeah, but here's the crazy thing about Jahan Fowler. I actually have all the history of all the championships that Frank Lunchbox got into. Okay, so he'll just sit down. This is gonna be a good little story time. So this game, now the lead that he was in, okay? So the lead that he was in. Okay? I know it sounds a little bit too boring because I want to get straight to the game. I know it's a little boring, but it actually gives you all a little bit of fun little lore. You guys actually are welcome to listen to and sit down because it's a lot. So Frank Lunchbox originally was as a head coach for the Marauders. Now this team had some struggles the first 2 years. They went along against the Blue Lions House in the third Hurricane Football League Championship, 38-19. They will lose the Church of Sorrows the next season, but basically Church of Sorrows will lose the Bulls in the fifth championship, so you see a little bit of a flip flops. But then he got signed to the Pat Nation Cubs. Now the Pat Nation Cubs were a huge dynasty. Like imagine the Patriots winning 20 championships or 10 championships in the span of a decade. Imagine that. That was Pat Nation Cubs. And the Pat Nation, they beat the Buffaloes Express back to back. They beat the Buffaloes again the fourth year. And then they even were so dominant to the point they have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 straight championships in a decade. From the sixth championship of the league to actually the 17th championship of the league's history. Then the 18th championship came around, and actually the 13th Air Force Squadron pulled off a huge upset at Pat Nation's home turf, which Blue Lions housed for the first time in 18 seasons. Because fun little fact, Blue Lions house lost 1, 2, 3 championships. 3 championships. They lost back-to-back against Pan Nation Cubs in the 15th and 16th championship. But then they won it finally against the 13th Air Force Squadron by a touchdown. Now, this lead was so crazy to the point in the 25th annual championship, the Leicester Titans, aka the team that was defensively led by Jahan Falah, which actually the QB of Leicester Titans was by Jacob Calhoun, which is actually one of the greatest QBs of all time for one season. He was basically the Steve Young of the HFL. He would win at least one championship there, but he will also leave a big name, and he was actually in the Hall of Fame. So, and it was because of the greatness of the offensive coach at the time. I forgot his name was, but he definitely left a huge name into the. Basically, also he has his own history with that. But Jahan Falah was leading a great defense. This defense would stop teams like Pat Nation Cubs. They were dominant against teams like the Bulls and all that. And actually, the Leicester Titans team, they faced the Marauders, which is kind of a little bit of a nice little flashback, nice little blast from the past matchup. But they destroyed them 35-9 with that team. And that was the only time they won a championship. Um, and actually, last season before, there was also Jacob Calhoun's great season as well. But they lost by a field goal, 26-23. Now, back to the game at hand. That is the story of Jihad Falah in a glimpse. He basically won a championship, and now you guys actually get to witness this team. Now here's the thing on his defense, okay? Here's the defensive strategy he is part of. Now, I'm only going to get to control all of his defense. So here's the thing. His defense pass technique, okay? He was more of a balanced one. But tackling-wise, he was mostly focusing on securing the tackle. He wants sacks, but he also wanted he also didn't want the strip. He wants a clean tackle. He also didn't want that strip because it makes, it does not look great, right? But here's the thing also, here's the thing about the wide receiver coverage, okay? This kind of defense strategy was also but also his goal was also minimize the scrambles. He is that kind of coach. He will love the blitz. He is more of a smash mouth defense type of coach. He is more of I am in your face, I'm going to sack you and take you down kind of coach. He was that kind of motivator. He is that type of coach. He is basically a dude that he will not mess around. And he will give kids, more like, hey, blitz this dude. You know what I mean? He is definitely that kind of coach. But that's what makes Johan Paul such a great coach in general. He actually left a legacy that way because he was more of in-your-face, smash-mouth type of defense. He is basically like Bill Belichick, I think. Hold on a minute real quick. I want to look at type of defense. I think I would basically I think I would definitely say in Giants because he was in the Giants actually. Yeah, his was more of a straight front line with a well coordinated secondary. But yeah, he was definitely one of those coaches. He is like Bill Belichick, but imagine the secondary was his second priority, but also that D line being like smash mouth football. That is the type of coach that he is. He is more like, but unlike Bill Belichick, he's more of like, hey, I'm in your face. You know what I mean? Like basically he wants to minimize the scrambling, but take the sacks and take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like take advantage of the situation of the game, right? But with that being said, let's get into the defensive side and get into the training part because this is actually one of my favorite things about this game. Now, we got a lot of great defensive linemen this season. We're also going to aim for a lot of seniors who need to get better, but also want to get juniors who want to do better. So let's go ahead and get now. What I'm mostly going to aim for is mostly going to be zone coverage. Now there's no breakthrough for him, but at least he got +2 on that. That's going to help him a little bit. Jeremiah Williamson, he's a guy he definitely needs to get a little bit more better with the pursuit and the defensive IQ. And actually, he got a breakthrough for that, which is good, actually. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do cornerback real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and do a cornerback. So, you can do Angel Russell or Jason Hall. Now, you can look at the future in the next 3 years, or you can look at the future right now, which is your sophomore, which we're going to go ahead and do him right now. Now, he has a B potential, which is really huge. And I am going to go ahead and give him that pursuit. Now, that is a +6 breakthrough. Now, that is going to be huge later on because when you look at his stats now, if you look at his stats, that's always the 3-star recruit. If I can look at his um yeah, he definitely wants to be a star. I'll guarantee you. Actually, I'm gonna bookmark him. Actually, no, I can't bookmark him yet. But yeah, here is the attributes so far. Um, he is definitely one of those guys who has the build. We just need to really focus upon how can we manage to get him into the speed, get him in the, basically take care of getting things done. Now, according to the overall predictions attributes over time, he's predicted to basically, he's supposed to predict actually he's gonna actually gain a lot of weight, 226 pounds, mostly gonna be muscle, so not surprised. He's supposed to be getting a lot more faster, a lot more durability. That's not going to change much, but that potential is going to start dwindling down a little bit. So we're going to see what the next couple years will do for him. But also his high school season was not as different. So yeah. We'll see what it does for him. We'll see what the future brings for Jason Hall out of Bailey, North Carolina, which is kind of an interesting team choice. But yeah, so we got that. Now we need to go ahead and do practice. Now, practice wise, we're going to do auto practice. I like auto practice a little bit more better. It actually gives me a look at what kind of schemes work, what don't. Now, it seems like our cover robber does well with our PA stretch, which is actually really good. But our cover ones do not do well with our running game. So, but at the same time, the cover one robber against the wide receiver quick, we can actually read that really well too. That's a good thing to know too. And then the cover one robbers are also looking good with the zone weeks. So that's a good thing. At least we know what strengths and weaknesses are for all of that. So we'll take it as it may. So, which is not a big problem in general. So now let's get into the next. Let's get to the next game. Now your game has 6 trains. Okay. Wait, trainings. Wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. Maybe we need to. I don't know, real quick. We need to look at. Maybe we need to look at his stats. Maybe. Real quick. Okay, hold on real quick. Cornerback. Now we can actually do a couple of things. Oh, you can actually look at your attributes too. Yeah, let's go ahead and skip that. All right. All right. All right. Here we go. So now we'll see what we need to do with practice. All right, we need to all practice some things. Now it looks like our defense can also manage the cover one robber with the PA deep end. That's another strength. Which is also the PA will write also looks like our offense can actually manage and get things done too. That's another thing I want to keep an eye on as well with our offense type. So that's pretty good that we do know there is a weakness, but also a strength with the passing game against them. So we'll see. But also, meanwhile, the Coco and Robert is doing really spectacular with at least getting things done. The only question is can we actually do a different practice where we can do a different play? I think we should do that more too. So we can see what works and what doesn't on the spring games. You know what I mean? Now on to the defensive side of the field, onto trainings. Right now, we're gonna go ahead and do and focus is we're gonna focus a lot more on Nicholas Lancaster. We're gonna focus on them. Now, it looks like our defensive IQ is gonna help him a lot. But I'm gonna do is we're gonna do man-to-man coverage. Now, he actually also got a breakthrough, which is huge for a sophomore. Very huge in my opinion. Definitely gives a lot of players like him a chance. Now, next up, we do need to also do is be like basically try to also bump up people's pursuits. Now, this one only got +2 pursuit. It is what it is. I'm gonna take that. So now we're gonna go do one more training, and that is we're gonna do a safety. Now we got a lot of great safeties in this team, but I do want to take care of this freshman who I think definitely deserves a little bit of that potential. All that. Now breakthrough wise, he had a huge breakthrough, +6 pursuit. That is gonna be huge. Now finish the remaining of the trainings. Now let's see what actually that does. Now it looks like the coach did some like strength and did all that kind of jazz, which is not bad. Meanwhile, Damian Edmond, he actually got a +4 catching, which is going to help us a lot with our offensive line. Offensive line wise, we also got Joe Eldridge, which is going to help us a lot too. So yeah, even Ken Nash is actually going to help us as well. So that's basically a bunch of players that are going to basically make an impact one way or another on the offensive side of the field. But also we got Simon Pina, which actually he's now a 99 overall when it comes to defense safeties, which is going to be huge on that side of the field. Now, on to the summer break here. And like I said, I'm only gonna do this is gonna be typically a chill stream in general, so it's not gonna be a very long stream. Pretty much I'm gonna aim for at least 2 hours for tonight, an hour or two. So hopefully we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. Hopefully we can actually do at least a few games too. We're gonna do a few games of strategy as well, so stay tuned with that. If you like some football, this is your stream for tonight. Oh, speaking of football, on Thanksgiving night or Thanksgiving afternoon, we definitely got some football in the afternoon with Legend Bowl and College Bowl with some Thanksgiving football for you all live on Twitch. Here we are next week. So stay tuned with that. We got some football finally. So yeah. Now, we got some training we need to do for the next summer. So, for this summer. So, now we can do a couple things. We can get Brandon Camp, which he is actually a player who I think deserves at least to see what kind of build he has for his potential, which I think we should do. Now, all right, so it looks like he has a +3 IQ, and now he's an 81 overall. We bumped him up a point a bit. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good build. Now, I'm going to go ahead and check Grayson Boyce. Now, Grayson Boyce is actually great at block shedding, but that tackle needs to be bumped up. And actually hit a +6 when it comes to that. Man, those stats are really going to help us a lot when it comes to seeing, who is workable, who doesn't. Now, the final player I'm going to look at, and this is just a cornerback position kind of look. Now, coming from my experience, we already knew some of these players are looking really good, right? We got a 99 overall, actually 108 overall receiver. We got a 90 overall. I mean, we even got Elliot Jenkins on the offensive side of the field. We got his tight end who's a 95. I mean, and now we got a little bit more different stats here than we usually do. And then we got Simon Pina as a safety. And I feel like we should go ahead and do is bump up Simon Rincon
see what actually works for him. Now we're gonna go ahead and bump up his IQ a little bit. Now there's no breakthrough, but he did have a +2 defensive IQ, which kind of bumps up his stats a little bit more than usual. Which is, I still think the IQ is gonna help him one way or another. That's pretty much gonna be what I'm mostly gonna aim for. Now onto the assignments. Now the results of the week. Now it looks like we're mostly been aiming a lot of more of like, yeah, we got Drayson Boyce. He had his huge training camp day in the summer. Meanwhile, we have like Matthew Rincon, Princeton Dudley, Elliot Jenkins going his huge stat build. I mean, this offense looks so clean. I mean, we aiming on Matthew Sexton, who Sexton or Sexton. I think it's said if I really botched that last name, but definitely that last, definitely this O line is going to be really good when it comes to building up and getting things completed. So definitely we'll see what we can do. Now we're going to look at the defensive schemes, and like I said, let's go ahead and see what we can do with the offense. Now I am also going to aim for a lot more shorter passes and see what works and what doesn't. Now we're going to do 46 bear. Now what we're going to do is 46 bear. We're going to look at cover 2 sink. And now we're gonna do this at their actually we're gonna do this at around the opponent's 35. I typically do at least a couple plays to the 35. Sometimes we'll do it at our own, do it at our own, do it at our own side of the field. So let's start with this play. Now it looks like a pretty good play. Now it looks like we are actually doing really good. Now it looks like we get a good 3 sacks. I do definitely good rushing chance, 43 completion, but we did have a pick and a 51 incompletes. So now the longest they ever had was a 20 to 24 yard play. So that's the thing that you gotta keep in mind. Also, they only been doing like 52 times with 0 to 4, basically no gain to 4s, which is actually pretty good for a practice scheme first. That's definitely a good scrimmage. Now, next screen we're gonna do is we're gonna do a deep pass. Now we're gonna do more of a deep pass. We're gonna do a verticals, and we're gonna do our nickel on this one. I'm gonna look at our nickel and see what we actually can do with the cover 2 sink. Now this is gonna be right around at the opponent's 45-yard line. So basically you can do it. Now, this is like 5.45 average yards per play. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good, actually. We got an interception, 5 rushing attempts, 4 sacks, 43 completes, but 47 incompletes. Now, the highest amount they tried to do, now they have 8 times they only had 20 to 24 yards, but only 66 times where they actually had an 0 to 4 yard completion, which actually I'm curious now that I want to see like a screen pass to see what works on this one. So here's a screen pass. Now we're gonna do a 3x4 play, and we're gonna do a cover 1 hole. Now we're gonna do it at our own 43-yard line, and see what works. Now, yes, so it looks like our defense did really good with pass deflection, sacks, and tackles. But at the same time, we did really good, at least, to give Jenkins such a hard time. The highest amount of yards that we would give us 4 times a chance. Basically, 4 times out of this amount were led to completion. 71 times, but we did have 3 sacks and 2 rush attempts. So the great news is that we are actually we also did 11 sacks, 11 loss of yard plays over the 10 over 14, which means that is 7 more. It means we're getting more loss of plays, which is pretty good, actually, with that average. That's pretty good for our defense. So we're basically looking at and see what works and what doesn't in our offense and defense. Now, next thing we're going to look at, we're going to do one more play, and I'm going to do a random one, okay? We'll do the rest of our randoms. Now, we're going to do a run play. Now, this one's going to be a strong stretch, but we're going to do a goal line. We're going to do a goal line, and this is going to be right around at our own red zone, right around the own 20-yard line. And we're going to see what works and what doesn't. Now, this is actually one of those plays that are actually workable. Okay. So it looks like it looks like our defense looks pretty good. But also, rushing wise, we're giving Larkin such a hard time. He only had a 1.8 average when it comes to rushing games. So we're basically kind of we're starting to notice that this offense does have weaknesses. For example, we blitz a team on a red zone, right? And all that kind of stuff. It basically leads to that problem. Now, the next random one was basically an outside zone, but they did a cover one robber, which is not surprising. That would be a 5.17. Now we have a read option though with a cover one robber, and actually ends up with that one. I'm gonna look at the details on that one actually. How did we do with that one? Is there a way we can look at like defensive side of the field? I want to see the defense on this one. Okay. Sacks wise, yeah, we have a forced fumble though, which is pretty good. That means our defense is also ready for screen options. Now onto auto practice, and it looks like slants and cover one QB contains. Now this one was kind of a weakness. I'm starting to notice is that also 72% if we complete them, and actually the rest of them we either are a sack, we have an interception, but also a rushing attempt. Also 9 yards. Also, we had one event where it was 25 to 29 yards. So that's good to know. And he did. Now, Jenkins did have a touchdown and interception, but he did got sacked twice for loss of 12 yards. So we look like we have a good defense, but also we have a great offense. So this is definitely a great strategy we're looking at here. When it comes to our summer camp. Now, on to the final week before we start playing our first 2 games. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It all comes down to this. Now, first things first, we do need to. Now, also, by the way, all recruit is enabled, so because we're not a head coach yet. So, now, what we're going to do is we're going to also look at our D line here. Now, we're going to look at our safeties first before we get into anything. Now, we did have Matthew Rincon as our guy we main focus, but we're going to also focus on Owen a lot more recently. Actually, we can't do that, so we're going to look at Zane Williams. Now, Zane Williams is not the best. No. Okay, how about Donovan Travis? Donovan Travis is, I don't know. I feel like some of these players have great potential, and then there's some are like, they're meh. We'll see what they can do, right? Well, we're going to do is pursue with this one. Actually, he actually has a +4 pursuit. Aiden McLean, definitely a player, definitely a slot corner or slot safety that will help us in the long run if we ever go nickel. Now, next up we need to look at is cornerbacks. Now, I am going to look and see what we can do with some of these players. And we'll see what works and what doesn't. Now, I'm going to look and see a block shedding. Now, he actually suggested his training, but he also has a +2 block shedding. Now, he actually has also a bump up stat a little bit, a +1. And then finally, we're going to do one more player, one more defensive corner. Now, I'm going to go ahead and focus on a lot more on our new talent. And now, I am also going to focus on Angel Russell, I think. No, I did not give Angel Russell any training. So we're going to give the defensive IQ. And he actually did a +2. And he's a 79 now. That's pretty good for a stat. That's pretty good. Very helpful. We're going to see what does work and what doesn't once we get into our first game. Actually, we're actually facing against we're facing against Southern California in our week 1. So that's going to be huge. Now, it looks like our defense. Okay, so our defense actually, I want to look at the deeds on this one. 11.3. Actually, this looks pretty good. A bunch of completions, but at the same time, we have some incompletions, a sack, and a rushing temp force, which is pretty, it means we still have a really good chance of using it for our package. Now, this one looks pretty good too for our defense. It's a 4.56. 63 rushing attempts, but 21 out of the basically only 21% of this pie shows that it was complete. Meanwhile, we had 2 sacks and 14 incompletions. So that is pretty huge. We can use for that's going to be beneficial. That's actually which is the reason why I love this kind of game, because actually you'll get to know what practices work and what don't. Okay, next up we got a stick and a cover 1 QB contain. Now it looks like from my observations, yeah, okay. Yeah, 77% completion. Meanwhile, everything there was an interception, I think. Yeah, an interception, a 2 sack, and a 4 rushing, and a 16 incomplete. So yeah, he did complete yardage, but the most he did was 5 to 9 yards. Rarely on a good day he'd have 10 for 14. So that's pretty good that our defense can manage getting things done. Now, next up, defense cover 1 QB contain was a 5.9. Now I'm gonna look at this defense and see what we did. Forced fumble, 14 tackles for loss, and 98 tackles for loss. Basically, we did well when it comes to their performance. Now the yards gain wise, only 8 times we did 16 plus. So that means that are allowing longer runs over him. But the problem is that that's actually one of the weaknesses of cover one QB contain, is that you're not going to get a lot of things. So, oh, that also didn't show up on the screen, didn't it? 1 minute, quick. I want to make sure it's actually shown on the screen real quick. Yeah, I want to make sure it's actually fit for you all. There we go. There we go. Now, we do got one more to practice. Actually, we do got one more preseason to cover. And then we'll do Southern California for week 1. Actually, we do need to go ahead and sim the or basically take care of the remaining trainings. Basically assign them, basically. Now it looks like a team to beat. We got wide receiver, tight ends. We got even got some linebackers who are around the 80s and the 90s now. This team is a force to beat this season. I cannot wait to see what we can do with the preseason expectations. Let's see what we got here. Now it looks like this is going to be a good game. Now we are supposed to be Southern California is ranked number 3 in the country, and I don't think we're ranked at all. I don't think we're going to see in a little bit where we rank and where we align to in the polls, but we're going to see how we do things here at this point. Now, it looks like here's our rankings. We're ranked number 1 in the country. Oh my gosh. All right. So Jihad Falah is in one of the best programs now in the country. You know, we got Bama, California, Ohio State, number 4, Georgia, the Bulldogs. Yeah, we got a really huge stage of competition for this one. But yeah, we got some, and we're part of the game of the week too. So number 1 against number 3 to open the week. That is going to be huge. But here we are. Now, we do got some expectations. According to the coach, we got a basically allowed 300 yards per game or fewer in conference games. Meanwhile, we have to make the playoffs. So that's going to be our goal, is get ourselves into that playoff competition. Now, basically, also coaches have to make a decision what there are, what the boosters are going to be. So we're going to just go ahead and skip it to the next game. We go. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Jihad Falah's coaching debut. Now we're gonna look at our practice focus, see what works and what doesn't. Now it looks like this team is a really good defensive one. Now we're gonna do is I'm gonna look at their team Now it looks like this team on the offensive run looks like they have a really good run blocking receiver skill. So, but I think because of that, we're gonna go ahead and do is focus a lot more on the running game. And, getting that, basically stop the run. Because that's gonna basically eat us up all night if we can't get that all figured out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop the run. But I like to also do like a short passing, so that's gonna be really hard. But I think stopping the run is gonna help us. Now they're gonna do rushing. Meanwhile, we're gonna stop the run. So that's gonna be interesting to see what we can do with that one. So let's see what does work. Okay, 3.454, 2.54, 3.34. We are really good with our defense. I mean, we are actually locking in, getting things done. Now, it looks like also the longest amount of yards we allow is 12 yards. So 0 to 5 yards. Now, meanwhile, we also have less of 0 yards of 8 times. So that's pretty good. That's great that actually we're kind of making, and actually 100 tackles in 8 tackles for loss. That's pretty good. Out of those 100 carries, we gave them such a hard time. So that's pretty good, actually. Now, let's go ahead and get into the next thing, the next week dashboard. Next up, we got to adjust the depth chart, which I can't change anything with that, which is fine. I think we're okay. No one's injured. No one's, no one's injured. No one's hurt. Meanwhile, the adjust game plan. Now, the game plan we have for this is the same as always. Actually, I'm going to be also going to do balance zone for this week. So we're going to see how that does a lot, how that changes a lot in this game. And actually, I'm going to do is also we're also going to look at our balance. We're going to maximize the sacks or what. I mean, for this first week. But at the same time, it's also because of the fact he can smash. He's a smash mouth defensive coach. Sometimes you have to keep it balanced to see what works and what doesn't. I mean, but also they know that wide receiver coverage is going to be same, because he also thinks that if you can balance it out and actually make sacks, or you can stop the run, stop the playing game, you'll be great. So here we are in the Michigan against Southern California. It's 73 degrees Fahrenheit, 35% of rain, live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Are you ready for some football? Are you ready for some football? Because that is how I feel right now. I am ready for some football. Because I am ready for it. Now I'm going to change the screen real quick. I'm going to adjust it real quick. That's pretty good in my opinion. But I am ready for some football because it's, for that week 1. But here we go. All right, everything's ready to go. Let's start our first game. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 1, where Michigan's going to hope against the number 3 in the country, USC. It is tails. And who wins this one? Michigan wins the coin toss, but we're going to basically... Wait, what? Okay, Michigan selected to receive the ball. Southern California will kick it off. Okay, I'm liking that. I like that decision. All right, first play, and we're going to be getting... We're getting the first play of the game. They're going slants. 2nd and 5. Nice play so far. They're going for a power option. And we're going to end up for a punt. And here we are for this one. Now, we're going to do a cover 3 46 spare, or we can actually, we're going to do a dime play. We're going to do a dime and see what works. 2nd and 10. Line this one up. 1st and 10. So that game plan's not going to work. So we're going to do a dime play, cover 1 contain, line it up. Another stop, another first down. But an interception for Michigan. Nice job, defense. That was huge. But we had ended up with a loss of 2 on the first down. But a nice first down going for a run. 2nd and 7. They're starting to march on. 3rd and 1. Nice first down. 2nd and 10. Going for a deep pass. Let's go. Nice run. 1st and goal. 2nd and goal with the loss of 2. 3rd and goal. And a 4th and goal, which makes us take the lead with 3-0 with 6:48 in the first quarter. Nice job, defense. But a nice return for USC. 1st and 10. Down there near midfield. 2nd and 8 is up next. Cover 3 Sky. Let's see. 3rd and 4. Can we make a stop? 1st and 10. DB blitz. Another first down. They're starting to keep marching on. As a touchdown, and USC takes the lead with a 7-3 game, which I think they need to really fix that. Hold on a minute real quick. Gotta refresh that. And nope, it won't. Of course it won't. Of course it won't. Okay, never mind. Okay, that was a glitchy bug. Okay, now I figured it out. Okay, now I figured themselves out. 2nd and 7, 3rd and 7, and a 3 and out. Now, let's look and see what we can do here. Now, we're going to have to do is get a couple of dimes in here and see what we can do, what works and what doesn't. We're going to look at our second page and see what we can do. Now, we can do a Mike dime blitz or we're going to do a dime blitz. We're going to just go do a dime blitz and see what works. Okay, so that doesn't work. We're going to go ahead and do a man-to-man. We're going to do a cover 1 hole and see what works. 3rd and 2, a cover 1. Another first down. We're going to just continue stopping the run. That's what we're hoping for. But we're going to chew this clock at the end of the first quarter. 7-3. But here we go. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 12 with a loss of 2. That's great. That's a great job with the defense. And a 4th and 3. Are they going for it? But it's a nice... Oh, wow. They went for it. Okay. That was gutsy. 1st and goal. And we're going to do a nickel blitz. And a touchdown. 13-3. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's a wild. 14-3. Here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's crazy. That we couldn't even get, we couldn't even make a stop with our defense. But that's okay. Like I said, this is just the first half. We got about another 12 minutes. Okay, 2nd and 2. Nice first down. That is huge. Halfback stretch during 11. Nice first down. Another run play. Loss of 1. 3rd and 4 and a 4th and 5. But they missed the field goal. So not a great look so far. Now we're going to do a different suggestion. Cover 3 cloud. 2nd and 5. Now, I'm really going to need to do a different play. So cover 2 man, cover 3 buzz press. Okay, gap press up next. 2nd and 16 with a sack. That's huge. 3rd and actually a 3 and out. Nice job with the defense. That was something we needed. 2nd and 10. Okay, we're going to have to see why they're... Okay. They're going for a 3 and out. So now we're back on defense with 3:13 to play. Cover 3. 1st and 10. Now they're in their midfield. 2nd and 9. Another first down. Cover 3 contain. Yeah, it seems like we're not making a lot of big plays. We need to really start getting ourselves together. We're going to do a cover 2 man on this one. See what works and what doesn't on this one. 1st and goal, gauge 8. Touchdown, USC 20-3 to start the first half. Wow. They gave us their money's worth on this one at their own home field. Now let's see what they're going to do. Okay, Michigan's going to call timeout. First play. Going to go start. Michigan call timeout. 3rd and 5. A nice first down. Okay, they're going to start. Keep going. Down to 29 seconds. 2nd and 10, 1st and goal, and it's going to be a field goal. Okay, so 21-6 at halftime. Very nice job. We're going to do cover 4 quarters, and then we're going to go ahead and chew it. All right, that was not the best game to deal with. Now, let's hope we can get better. Now, we're going to go into a little different strategy. So, we're going to do a cover 2 man. And we're going to do a cover 1 contain. We're going to do a lineup. Loss of 1 on that one. Okay, another 1st and 10. So, we at least finding what their weaknesses is. Basically, man-to-man plays. So, let's see if this can work. 1st and 10. Nope, that didn't work. Man, this team, man, we can't even allow. We can't stop them, man. We're just getting, press, and it's another touchdown. Man, that's crazy. 27-6, 21 points, man. How can we turn this ourselves around? 3rd and 5, 4th and 5, a 3 and out again. Man, this team has been chewing bubblegum and taking care of business no matter what. I mean, that's crazy. Okay, 3rd and 4. Another 1st and 10. We're going to change the play a little bit. We're going to do a nickel. And we're going to do a cover 1 hole and see if it works. Here we go. Another 1st and 10. That's not great. So we're going to have to really just go ahead and go 3-4s. Cover 2 man contain. Actually, go to a zone at this point. I mean, we might as well. Okay, gauge 8. Okay, another 1st down. Okay, another 1st and 10. Another 1st and goal. Man, we're just we're not doing great. We're not doing what we're supposed to be getting done. And a touchdown for South California, man. They're just making a stem already in the 3rd quarter. 34-6. 28 points. Imagine we actually try to make a comeback now. I mean, nice return, though. That's a nice start. 1st and 10. 2nd and 11. 3rd and 11. 4th and 11. They're allowing field goals, but we're not getting touchdowns. That's not great. So we need to really start getting... Now we're not doing great. Now, okay, let's line it up. Cover 3 Sky. 3rd and 6. 4th and 1. Nice time. Nice job. Nice doing that. I think we don't need to do the lining ups. Okay. Let's go ahead and do... Alright, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and chew it. Okay, 3rd and 4, 4th and 2, but we're going to have to punt it. 2nd and 7, 1st and 10. Hobie blitz, another 1st down, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7. Please make a stop. Nice sack, 3rd and 9, 4th and 9. Nice. But we're going to be down in our own backyard. 2nd and 8. Nice pass. Can we turn ourselves around with 5:54 to go? Nice 1st down. Nice deep ball. All right. I see you. Touchdown. And we got the extra point. But we need to turn ourselves around. Here we go. Michigan's going to call a timeout. We're going to really need to start changing our plays a little bit. To make a stop here, at least. I mean, we're just already in a glimpse of an upset. 2 minutes remaining in the game. 3rd and 3. Man, GG's, man. USC put up a great game against us. I mean, yards-wise, they won the yards game, and and the time of possession did really good for, you know what I mean? Even though SC had that turnover against them, they did great on us. They basically beat us. I mean, they basically right up just beat us to the punch on the first week. Well, we'll do another game of this. And then we'll look and see what can we do to get better with us as a team. I mean, we're going to look and see what works and what doesn't. I think the problem is, the thing is, our offense is getting a lot of 3-and-outs. Meanwhile, our playbook situation was just not great. We should have more been focusing on more of the passing game. But now we're down to number 5 in the country with that massive loss. Now we have a very huge, and actually it's gonna be a rainy game. Actually, now this team is not the best when it comes to yards per game on their offensive talent. The only thing we're mostly gonna focus on is passing on this one. We're mostly gonna do is passing. See what works, what doesn't. We'll see what works. We'll see what's successful, and we'll see what is actually, I mean. Now, so far our offense with the click slants actually been in their favor, so at least that will work on something, right? That will at least work on can they. Now, at least offensive passing yards per game, I mean, like the best thing to do is rushing yards. So it's gonna be a huge competition to see what works and what doesn't. So this is definitely gonna be a big test. What works and what doesn't. Now, also, I think adjusting the game plan. I think everything is fine. I think the biggest thing we gotta do is we got to see tackling and the limit of the impact and I think we're gonna do also is we're gonna do more standard. We're gonna do more default. We'll see what works and what doesn't, right? We'll see what works and all that. Now our next week is we're facing it such an unranked Chicago. Well, let's see if we can actually pull this off. Alright, let's begin the coin toss. Chicago calls heads. It is tails. And we actually get to kick the ball, which is nice. That means I get first dibs. And here we are. Now we're gonna really change this to a man-to-man cover one hole. We'll see what works. 2nd and 9, 1st and 10, 2nd and 11, cover 2 man. And a 4th and 5, a 3-and-out. Nice job. Now, 1st down. They're starting to march. Nice 1st down there, but a fumble against Michigan. 3rd and 13, but it's a 1st and goal and a touchdown for Chicago. Wow. Man, that is rough. Chicago's just having a rough night. But then they're starting to really turning themselves around, I'm noticing, which is good. Nice passing. That's what we needed. Yeah, touchdown Michigan. Let's go. Nice job, offense. Finally about time. We got something. I mean, you only scored 16 points last week? I'm not letting that happen. Now we're going to do a blitz. Now we're going to do a zone blitz. We're going to do a little bit more of a zone blitz. Now we're going to line up. 2nd and 3. 3rd and 8. 4th and 3. A 3-and-out. That is huge. Now they're going to do more passing, which is kind of a little surprising, but I'm not surprised. And actually, they're going to punt it. Now they're in their own 13. Cover 2 sink. Cover 1 robber. Okay, cover 2 man. Okay, 3rd and 6. End of the 1st. Now to the gap press. Another stop. Let's go. Now let's see. Can we turn ourselves around? 3rd and 11, but a 4th and 1. Nice stop on the defense. Now QB contained. They're going to get a 1st down. 2nd, 3rd and 3. Another 3-and-out. We're doing great, at least making stops. That's what we needed. 4th and 3. Another punt is going to be down to 25. A nickel blitz. Cover 30 now. No, another 1st down. 2nd and a 1st and goal. Cover 2-man touchdown. Wow. I mean, with 5:59 to go in the 1st half. So now they're going for slant toss, all that kind of stuff. All right, they're going passing. Man, we're going to have a great game on this one. Nice job. Touchdown, Michigan. Let's go, man. We're just having a great game. Now let's see what we need to do with this one. Now we're definitely going to do a zone for this one. We'll see what works. Now we're going to line this up. A 2nd and 10. Line it up. Okay, a timeout. One more stop. A 3-and-out. All right, another timeout called. Good job. We're marching on. 119. We're in their own 42-yard line. First and 10. Second and 10 again. Running another timeout. 37 seconds. 28. Third and 10. But another field goal. We take the lead for the first time in this game. Finally. Now cover 4 quarters. Second and 9. And then we're just going to chew it out for the first half. 17-14. Great first half. That was something what we needed. And actually, that was great. That was actually something we needed. Now let's see what the offense brings to the table. 3rd and 1. Nice first down. They're starting to march. 2nd and 4. Nice marching. 1st and goal. 2nd. Come on, get it in there. Touchdown. Let's go. With 10:04 left. 24-14 the second half start. Very good. 2nd and 11. 3rd and 11. Cover 1 robber press. Let's go. Another 3 and out. And actually, we're in a great field advantage. Another job. 2nd and 8. 3rd and 11. 1st and goal with the deep ball. 2nd, 3rd goal. Touchdown again. Now we're pretty much now we basically showed why we're winning games now. With that kind of strategy, that helped us a lot. That was huge. 1st and 10. Now they're starting to march. 2nd and 7. 3rd and 7. 4th and 7. Nice stop again. Very nice job. Now, actually, a nice return to down midfield. Our special teams have actually been our best friend. Another screen. Nothing gained on that one. 3rd and 11. 4th and 11, but we got a punt. But it's going to be down the 5-yard line. Line it up. Another line it up. 2nd. 3rd and 3. End of the 3rd quarter on this one. Now, we're going to change our strategy a little bit. I guarantee they're going to go run. So we're going to go man-to-man. We're going to do a cover 1 robber on this one. And a 4th and 1. Let's go. Finally, that play was very useful. 1st and 10. We had a loss of 1. 3rd and 11. A 4th and 2. But let's see what works in this one. 1st and 10. Now we're going to go ahead and change our play a little bit. We're going to do a man-to-man again. QB1 contain. We're going to see if that works. 3rd and 3 in the gauge 8. The 4th and 3, a 3 and out. Nice. We're definitely doing a lot more better than our first game. I'll tell you that much. That was 3rd and 8. Nice first down. I mean, if we can chew this clock, we win this game. Actually, we're in 1st and goal to 1. Touchdown, Michigan again at home field. 38-14. Now we're definitely seeing a lot more progression. Now, all side linebacker blitz. Okay, cover 2 sink. Okay, they got a first down. 2nd, actually got a loss of 2 on that one. 3rd and 12. Another 1st and 10. 2nd, 3rd. 4th down. A turnover on downs. 3:53 to play. Now, we did lose some 3 yards on that one. And we got to gain a 1. So 3rd and 12, but we lose a fumble again. Deja vu, I guess. I mean, I cannot believe we're losing fumbles now. I mean, I thought our running backs were going to do great. Now we're actually nice. We also got a loss of 6 on that one. That was helpful. 3rd and 16. A 4th and 16. Another turnover on downs. That was brilliant. That sack was massive. And now we can just go ahead and punt it. And now if you're Chicago, you need to start scoring some points in 57 seconds. Cover 4 quarters. 2nd and 9. 3rd and 2. What we're going to go ahead and do a man-to-man. Man-to-man. Nah, nothing worked on that one. But a loss of 8 on another sack, man. Our defense has been doing us a lot of favors, and we won cleanly on that one. 2 turnovers against us on that one, but we did really good, at least keeping the ball in our hands. I mean, our rushing game was great, and our passing yards have been phenomenal as well. I mean, look at that. And our total yards, I mean, look at the total yard difference. I mean, that was great. 6 yards per play, 84 plays 14 drives, 220-plus yard plays. I mean, that really made a difference. I mean, a lot more of a bigger difference than we ever had from last week. So 38-14 final. Now we're on to week number 3. Man, that's crazy. I mean, we can continue. Actually, we can try to play at least half the season, maybe, if we can. Again, my goal is at least to play a couple more games of this, and then we'll basically. Actually, I think that this game is actually 10 weeks. I think like 12 to 13 weeks. So we'll see. But we did lose. Some ranking, which is not great. But we did have some injuries. We lost Samuel McLaurin, man, for 6 weeks. That's rough. But we'll see what we can do in that one. What we can do to make up for it. Next up is against the number 21 ranked Pennsylvania, man. We got a huge one on this one. Now, it looks like it's going to be in State College, Pennsylvania. Now, this team is a powerhouse when it comes to passing yards. We're going to limit the short passing on this one. We're going to do a lot of limiting the shortening the pass. Now, they're going to do a lot of rushing. Now, their defense is number 31 in the country for rushing, which is not a bad thing that they want to go more rushing. That's what it's actually going to do us a lot of favors. But now their offense is also going to be more passing yards per game. Now, I am mostly keeping an eye on the run too. So we'll see what works in this one. Now, it does look like, like cover 2 sting against this one. I guess running plays are great. So that means that we can even do cover 2 sting against a running game too. Cover 2 sting as a quick pitch. And also for this one, we could possibly do something like that. So now we're into the next game, week number 3. Now, it looks like we do got a lot of games on this one. Now, I'm going to adjust the game plan for this one. We're going to actually we're not going to do a conservative man. We're going to keep everything the same as it is on that one. But what we're gonna do on our defensive side of the ball, we're gonna do a limit yards a carry. We're gonna limit that. Then we're also gonna limit impacts, and then we're also gonna do it's for QB. We're gonna also gonna do is minimize the scrambling. He's gonna scramble, so we're gonna try to minimize it. Then for secure attack, we're actually gonna do is balance that. We're gonna go by default on that. So hopefully that'll work. So now here we are, week 3, Michigan against Pennsylvania for week number 3 on this one. Let's see if we can pull it off. Here we go. Let's begin week number 3 here. We got heads here. It is tails. And they won the toss, and they will kick it. So they'll get the ball in the second half. And here we are. 1st and 10. They're going for a slant toss. Loss of 2. Read option. Vertical. Nice. Okay. Second. Quick slant. 3rd and 10. An interception. A 1st and goal already off the get-go. All right. We're going to need... Oh, I did not mean to do it that way. Whoops. I did not mean to do that. Man to man, or should we do blitz? We're going to do gap press. Line it up. A touchdown for Penn's. Man, that was rough. And 7-0 already, man. That was a rough one. Rough start off. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 10. Another 1st and 10. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 8. Another 1st down. And another. Wow. Michigan has been just wow. All right, here we go. 2nd and 10. Line it up again. Another 1st and 10. 2nd and 4. Gauge 8. 1st and 10. 1st and 10. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 9. Cover 3 sky. Nice. Okay. So it's a 10-0 game already.
with 6:03 to go.
Man, that's insane. 1st and 10. Come on, Michigan. We gotta score something for the end of the first. There we go. 1st and 10. Loss of 3. And another. Wow. I want to see the stats here real quick. I want to look at something. An interception and 2 fumbles. Unbelievable. This team has been kicking our butts right now. I mean, straight up. Cover 2 sink, 3rd and 4. Nice job. But they missed the field goal. Okay, please score something. 3rd and 14. Okay, there we go. 2nd and 9. 3rd and 9. And a touchdown. Let's go. About time. A 41-yard touchdown. That was something we needed. Yes. All right, cover 1. Come on, D. Come on, D. Yes, let's go. That is going to be huge. Now, all right, 1st and 10. Come on, team. Triple option, 3rd and 7. But it's going to be a 3-and-out. So now we need to start something. 2nd and 9. And a fumble. And it's going to be turned the 10-yard line. And 1st-and-goal. Come on. Come on, go to the let's go. Touchdown, Michigan. Yes. 14-10. 9:14 left in the first. What a turnaround. 3rd and 6. 1st and 10. They're starting to move the chains a little bit. 2nd and 7. 3rd and 8. 4th and 5. But we're going to be down our own backyard. Come on, Michigan. Come on, offense. Let's get this. 2nd and 12. 3rd and 12. 4th and 12. Okay, we're going to do a punt. All right, team. 2nd and 11. 3rd and 8. They're going to call timeout. Nice stop. Let's go. Now chew it. Milk that clock. 4th and 8. Okay. Third buzz drops. 2nd and 9. 3rd and 3. 4th and 3. And they're going to get a successful first down. 1st and 10. Please stop it. Please stop it. Touchdown. Wow. What a game. But they missed the extra point. Oh my gosh. 1st and 10. Come on. 1st and 10. All right. Marching forward. All right. Past midfield. 17 seconds. 8 seconds. Hail Mary. Ah, man. They incomplete that one. Man. And actually, wow. Jenkins was, wow. Carter dropped that. But, all right, team. 2nd and 2. 3rd and 2. All right. They got a good deep ball. 2nd and 3. 1st-and-goal. Touchdown. Wow. Okay. Man. We got our butts. Man, we had a really great first half, and then we just basically got destroyed. But come on, Michigan, we got this. 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4. All right, 1st-and-goal. Come on, knocking on the door. Touchdown. Let's go, baby. Let's go. 2-point game. Oh my gosh, what a game! And a fumble. Wait, what was that play? It was a cover 1 hole. We beat them. They had a fumble. And now, can we take the lead? 3rd and 1, no. But we take the lead over a field goal, 24-23. With 3:47 left in the third quarter. 2nd and 9, 3rd and 9, 4th and 1. Nice stop. Come on, Michigan. Keep marching. 3rd and 1. 1st and 10. Let's go ahead and shoot the clock out. That was great. A great turnaround. 3rd and 1. 1st and 10. Keep moving. 2nd and 10. Nice first down. 2nd and 5. But a fumble again. The third fumble is an entire game. 3rd and 10. 4th and 10. Nice defense. Let's keep it going. 2nd and 2. 3rd and 2. 1st and 10. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it marching. Come on, Michigan. But we lost the fumble again. Man, once of our running backs touchdown Michigan, but they failed the 2-point conversion. So if we score a touchdown, we can win this game. 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4, 4th and 2. Okay. So we're going to punt it, but we need to start doing something. We need to start making some changes. So we're going to do a cover 1 hold, see if it works. 2nd and 9. a mid blitz, 3rd and 5. Okay, they got a 1st and 10. We need to go man to man a lot more, so we need to do that. 1st and 10. They're gonna call a timeout. 2nd and 12. 3rd and 9. All right, but they made the field goal now. So we got an 8-point game with a mid play. Come on, Michigan, we got this. Okay, 2nd and 1. Oh, nice pass. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 10. 4th and 10. But man, our offense can't even get the first down. And great game. That was a great game. Pennsylvania upsets again. Pennsylvania upsets another Michigan game. Man, 5 turnovers in the entire game. Man, our offense has struggled. Same with our defense. I mean, I definitely will say that this defense has been a lot more better than the first week, but man, our offense has just not been productive and not even giving us what we need to win games, and that is getting first downs, getting the yards on the ball. I mean, even with our yard total surpassing Pennsylvania, we're still not even good enough to get winning games, which is crazy to me. And now we're down to rank number 21 in the country. And we have a severe injury. Man, a senior, Matthew Rincon, for 11 weeks. Man. That's rough. That is a rough way to end your career in college football. Man. But now we need to face number 7 Notre Dame, which they're 3-0. And I got a lot to say about this team. That's all I can say. Now, this offense is a great offense with rushing. So we're going to basically stop the run on this one. We're going to stop the run. Now, they're mostly going to be doing rushing. Now, this offense, this defense has the worst rushing yards of all time. So we're going to see what works and what doesn't. Actually, it looks like our cover 2 stings and all that really going to be helping us out a lot with this team. But now we need to look at our depth chart and see what we need to do. So, we're going to bench all of our players. We're going to bench all of our players with major injuries. Now, the great news is that we got Larkin, which he is a sophomore to start with. So we're seeing a lot more players. I mean, we also got Jefferson. We got Martin Garrett. You know, that O-line is going to help us. We got a redshirt player, Forbes. You know, I mean, he's a balanced player, but he's injured. Actually, it's Simon Pena, actually, not the other one. Who is still, like, Matthew Rincon, man. Man, that guy, we trained him so much. We trained him in the summer camp. Now he's injured. That's going to be a rough blow, but we're going to see what our offensive line can do. You know what I mean? We're going to see what works. Now, I am mostly going to do what I'm going to do, and I don't like doing this because we need to replace one of our linebackers if we can. I think. If we can do that. There we go, linebackers. We need to start really getting our players. Know what I mean? So, I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and make him start. I'm actually going to make him start because where is. Yeah, we need to start having players being very happy. So, and actually, I want to get him starting too. I think he never got a lot of snaps either way either. So I want to get him started. Zane Gordzenson actually has an A+ potential too. So, and then we got Brandon Graves, but I'm gonna get him starting soon. So he's gonna get his time. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get some of these players' times too. So here we go. And we're going to do is a 9-player rotation size. We're going to bump it up a little bit. We're going to do a 9-player rotation size. So hopefully that will help us. But I think they deserve at least, we need to really start subbing in players and see what works and what don't, right? We're going to see what works. But here we go. Man, we got to face against Notre Dame for this week. That's crazy. Well, we can do one more game for the night, and then I'm going to go ahead and, call it a stream because it's already late night. So it's already been late. So, but here we go. Now, we got to do adjusting our game plan a little bit more. Now, there is one thing I'm going to be doing is making a change. We're going to focus on securing the task. Actually, what we're going to do is keep the balance on that. But what we're going to do is keep the pass defense technique balanced. We're going to see what works and what doesn't when it comes to our offense. No, I mean, we're going to see what works. Hopefully that works. So we're going to see. Right, we're going to see what works and what doesn't. All right, here we go. We got a good game. Let's begin. Final game of the night. All right, it's 79 degrees, clear skies, and it's 46% humidity, though. So let's begin the toss. Heads, we call heads. Here we go. Flip the coin. It is tails, but Notre Dame is going to win the toss. They're going to receive it. All right, D, let's get it done. All right, I hope to God we don't. No, I hope to God we don't mess this up. Wow. Okay, that was a start. They just straight up and then a touchdown out of the blue. Okay. That was some. I guess this team was that good, I guess. 1st and 10. All right, 2nd and 10. Nice first down. Power option during 11. 4th and 11, but another 3 and out. We're going to change our scheme a little bit. We're going to go zone. We're going to actually go to man-to-man. I'm going to get rid of the zone. We're going to do a cover 1 hole. Hopefully this works. All right, cover 3. Okay, first down. Cover 3 sky. Okay, another first 10. We need to really pretty much, we need to go man-to-man against them at this point. We basically need to go man-to-man, basically. Cover 1 hole. 3rd and 2. Now we need to go I formation. Goal line. Goal line. Nice job. Now they're going to go for it. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is a man-to-man again. But nice for... Man, they are so gutsy. I got to say, they're very gutsy. Man, they're just walking over us in the first quarter like that. That's crazy. Even when I was trying to be strategic... That did not work. Another 3 out against Michigan. Man, we are just basically getting our butts handed right now. So now we need to go for another cover 1 hole. Line up. Okay, change it again. But this time we're going for a blitz. We got to go for a blitz. Let's see what works. Line it up. 3rd and 4. Okay. Now man-to-man. QB contained. Nice. There we go. That's what we needed. Okay, triple action, but a fumble. Wow. That was... Wow. A touchdown. Wow. Notre Dame has been reading this like a book all night in the first quarter. Wow. 1st and 10. But a touchdown. There you go, Michigan. Where was that all first quarter? There we go. Put ourselves points on the board. 2nd and 3, gap pressed. 3rd and 5. Okay, an interception. Let's go, Michigan. Let's get the touchdown now. 2nd and 3rd and 11. 1st and 10. Good, 1st and goal. 2nd and goal. Punch it through. Actually, but we're going to get a field goal. So 21-10, 9:26 to play. Cover 3 sky. Cover 3. Okay, mid blitz. Okay, zone blitz. Okay. 2nd and 4. Okay, they're starting to march. Okay, we're going to need to go man-to-man here. So we need to go a little bit more different. We need to go cover 1 hole. Nice. But they made the field goal. So 24-10, still a 2-score game. Okay. Second, 3rd and 13. Nice first down. 2nd and 12. 3rd and 12. 4th and 12. 3 and out. Okay, defense. We need to start really starting to get some turnovers going. Okay. Cover 3. 3rd mid blitz. Nice. Okay, nice. 1st and 10. 2nd 8. 1st and 10. Okay, 2 more. Okay, 1st down. 2nd and 7. No. All right, keep it marching. 90 seconds. 3rd and 12. Oh, 1st and goal and a 2nd and goal. Come on, keep it going. But we're going to take a field goal. All right, 11-point game. We did really good on that one. Very well done on offense. A lot more better than that first quarter. And also defense, really well done. Man, very well done. I mean, that was a lot more better than that first quarter. I mean, our first quarter, we just basically got our butt beat. Straight up, basically got our butt beat in the punch. But, yes, we get the ball back, I think. Yes, we do. Ball back, they're going full back, wide receiver quick, 3rd and 3. But ends up with a 3 and out. All right, line up Brave, line it up. Cover 3, line it up. 3rd and 6, QB contain. Okay, not enough. 2nd and 8. Okay, slant weak, line it up. Oh, a loss of 3. Nice sack. Gauge 8, 3rd and 17. And another sack. Nice job. That was what I was mostly aiming for, is getting sacks straight up. 1st and 10. 2nd and 11. They're just keeping marching. 3rd and 10. Another 1st down. Man, I don't know how you can getting 1st downs. I mean, nice job. ISO formation. Okay, 2nd, 3rd, and 8. 1st and goal. Punch and knock into the door. Touchdown. Let's go. Now it's a 4-point game. Let's go. Nice job, defense. That's what we needed. 1st and 10. Loss of 2. Good job. 2nd and 12. 3rd and 4, please. Okay, we're just going to chew the clock. 2nd and 3. 3rd and 5. Okay, we need to line it up. Engage 8. 3rd and 5. Please make a stop. Please. Please make a stop here. Oh my gosh. Gap press. Ah. That's okay. It's okay. We can still get ourselves back in this game. 1st and 10. 2nd and 2. Tight end. Nice. Power option. And we got a lot of time. We can make a stop here. It's going to come down to our defense. But it's a fumble and returns. Oh my gosh. As a fumble, we return there. Okay. Man, so much chaos here today. Cover 2 sink. Okay, 2nd and 12. 3rd and 12. Okay. We need a touchdown. That's what we needed. Please. Offense. Touchdown. There we go. That's what we needed. And a 2-point conversion. We failed the onside kick. 3rd and 5. Man. That was another great game, man. That was a great... We almost tried to make a comeback on that one. Man, Michigan was like... is a team that we're overhyped too much. But at the same time, we have been really trying to win games. But yet, in our first quarter, I think that was our biggest problem. That first quarter, we just basically got our butt beat straight up. So, yeah, we got a lot of work to do for next season. That's wild. I mean, we just got our butt beat tonight for 2 straight weeks. Now we're out of, and another injury is a defensive lineman, man. We're just basically, we're swan like flies here, losing players. I mean, that's just crazy. And went down to the top 25 now. I think we're possibly out of the top 25. We don't get ourselves collected here. And then we have to face Indiana. Then we have to face Iowa, which they're on a roll. I can't believe that. And now we need to really start getting ourselves to beat. We need to beat Ohio State. We need to beat them. We need to beat them. Actually, speaking of which, let's see where Ohio's landing. I mean, okay. They're 4-0. Man, we're going to have a long night again, so we can't figure out their game plan. If we can't get our game plan figured out, that's gonna be a long night. But this team is a little bit more different. We could see a passing game offense, but I'm mostly going to be focusing a lot more on the rushing offense, a lot more. So we're mostly going to focus on the rushing offense, and that's going to be my main goal. For this one, is focus on a lot of the running game a lot more. So. But also, I'm also going to be mostly on secure tackles. But also, I'm going to be looking at like maximizing our sacks. That's going to be our biggest thing. Is we need a very good aggressive at this point. We need to really be very smart at what we need to do going forward, because this here is not our. This is not what we're expecting. All right, we got a lot to learn here. Now, depth chart wise, it looks like we still got a lot of injuries. Thankfully, though, like Zachary Elmore and Damian Jefferson, and like this one's kind of rough because this is a major injury. I think Matthew Rincon really just was a major blow to our defense. So that was it's not great. It's not great. So, but yeah, our backups, we're gonna bring them up by when they're up by 18. Actually, yeah, when they're up by 30. I'm gonna do is up by 24. And then with the 5 minutes, if we're up by 24. So that's mostly our aim goals. If but now here we are. And that's our next stream soon. We'll be basically facing against Douglas Foster, man. This team, man, has also been struggling. Now it's gonna come down to, can we actually get first downs? Can we get things done? So that's gonna be the biggest question of that game: is can we get these players like Nestor Forbes and Damian Amon and a lot of these other guys, including Dante. I mean, like I said, Dante and Aiden McLean, man, they have been really helping us a lot this season. I cannot wait for next season to see where our defense really aligns and see what we can do when it comes to recruiting. Which, speaking of which, let's look at our recruiting. Let's see what we got here for commits. Actually, so far, no commits so far. Let me look at all of our commits so far. It looks like we got a lot of competition for this one, but we got Darius Cole at tight end. I do want to see our defensive line. We'll see what we got here when it comes to defenses, because that's mostly what I'm mostly aiming for. What is he mostly focused? What our coach is focusing on when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see. Okay, so yeah, they have been focusing a lot more on their D line a lot, which is pretty good actually. Which is actually pretty good. That's pretty good at looking at like our basically. No, it's pretty good. At least they're trying to keep an eye on a lot of our recruiting, right? Which is pretty good. But the problem is, I mean, now Caden Dewitt out of Greenville, South Carolina, definitely a guy that we can bail on. He is also a school person, playing time, academics. That has been mostly his biggest thing. We also got from Midland, Ohio's Christopher Malone. Now, this guy looks like a bust, but he does have that potential a little bit. Looks like the scouts are like, they love him that much, but we're gonna see what we can do for him. Now, we also got Juwan Gibson, who's from Chesterfield, Ohio. He's also a gem a little bit, but he's also a 67 overall, so he's a guy who, in my opinion, we could see that he can start. Landon Markham. who is actually a 65-year-old, but also a B potential. That's pretty good for potentially, like, like I said, I know that he's trying to scout a lot of these players, and like I said, in general, I still think we still got a team that has been being basically in rebuild season, and I think this season we're going through a lot more losses, but they're very close losses. I will say that much. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be focusing on that kind of stuff, but I mean, this game was a classic. Don't get me wrong. We almost won it. If we had an onside kick in our hands and won that game, I would have lost my marbles. That would have been great. But now we need to really kind of look at and see, can we turn ourselves around this season? Can we really, after 4 weeks of going 1-3, can we turn ourselves around and really start getting ourselves into the winning ways? Know what I mean? Can we turn ourselves around? That's gonna be the biggest question of all this. The good news is, on paper, at least we're 1-1 in conference. We could still win. We could still have a good winning conference season if we can turn ourselves around when it comes to playbooking. And I think, like I said, I think we really need to start up in. Oh, what was that? What was that? Hold on just a minute. That was a weird screen showing. Hold on a minute, real quick. Let me go ahead and see what we did there. If we need to sim the rest of the 4 weeks, we can do that. It's fine. That was weird. That was a weird. Oh no, never mind. Okay, good. Okay, good. That's good. 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 All right, good. All right, perfect. So it did autosave. Okay, good. I think, but yeah, we're gonna stop here. But yeah, where is the where is where's our season schedule? There we go. Weekly dashboard. Okay. Yeah, so gonna be honest with you all, this schedule has been kind of rough, right? We lost by 16 points. We got to get our butt beat. Yeah, and this team is now actually doing well. They're 4-0. We did beat this team though. We did struggle first half big time. But then, man, these 2 games were very down to the wire, and we just didn't have enough. But now we got some really good games next weeks. We got Ohio State, which they're really good. They're very talented. Then we face against the 4-0 Philadelphia team. I mean, we got some teams, and then we got the Little Brown Jug in week 11, and then we got to face a ranked Lansing, Michigan. Man, from week 1, we were number 1, and then we went all the way down to the top 25 in week 5. Man, what a tank already this week. This already the start of this season. But anyway, that is enough for tonight. Thank you all for coming in. That was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're going to do a lot more of that next week. Oh, sorry, wrong screen.